Hello students, welcome to this social studies session. Last session we had already begun with the lesson Seasons, Atmosphere and Global Warming, and we had covered the topic how seasons are formed and the types of seasons. Let us proceed with the lesson further. The next topic is atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere is the mixture of gases surrounding the earth. Atmosphere is divided into 5 layers as shown in the image above: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Troposphere is the first layer above the surface of the earth. The layers of atmosphere closer to the surface of the earth are denser than the ones farther away. Dense means very close. The gases in this layer are bound to each other very closely. Weather changes occur in this layer. This is the layer where clouds are formed and rainfall or precipitation occurs. Precipitation means the water which we receive from the sky. It may be either in the form of rain, snow, hail, dew, frost, fog, mist or smog. These concepts we will be learning in the lesson further. You have already learnt the concept of weather last year. The physical features like temperature, humidity, that is the water content in the air pressure, cloud cover and altitude means the height of a place from the sea level. All these factors play an important role in the weather phenomenon. The other 4 layers of the atmosphere play an important role of reflecting back the harmful rays of the sun. The next topic in this lesson is water cycle. Water cycle shows the reasons and the effects of oceans, seas, mountains, land and troposphere on the weather phenomenon. Before we continue with the lesson further, let us carry out an experiment. In 2 separate glasses, take equal mass of sand and water and provide equal amount of heat to both of the glasses. Now, after 5 minutes, record your observations. You will notice that sand is much hotter than water. In other words, sand heats up quickly than water. After some time, the temperatures again. Now you will observe that the sand has cooled off but the water is still hot, which proves that the sand heats up quickly and cools down quickly, whereas water takes more time to heat up and also takes more time to cool down. This is the same reason why at late afternoon at a beach you often notice that the sand has become quite hot, whereas the water is comparatively cold. On the contrary, at night on a beach you will notice that the land is quite cold, whereas the sea water is quite warm. During daytime, as we receive the heat of the sun, the land heats up quickly than the sea water, as a result of which the earth releases the heat and the warm air rising from the land moves upwards and the cool air from the sea moves towards the land. This is called as the sea breeze. Unlike land, water heats up slowly and cools down also slowly. So, at night, when the land is cooler than the sea, the air above the sea rises up and the cool breeze from the land blows over the sea. This is called as the land breeze. Just to summarize, sea breeze blows during the daytime, whereas land breeze blows during night time. The next topic is water cycle. Water cycle is also known as the hydrologic cycle or the H2O cycle. This cycle describes the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. The heat of the sun causes evaporation of the water from the water bodies in huge quantities. Temperature is the physical factor that influences this. Higher the temperature, greater is the evaporation. That means more the heat of the sun, more the water is evaporated from the water bodies. One more factor that increases evaporation is the wind. The greater the speed of the wind, more is the evaporation. As the water from the water bodies evaporates, it forms into vapor and rises in the troposphere, where it cools and condenses. Let us understand what condensation is through an experiment. I hope everyone must have seen your mother's boiling water on the gas stove. Once the water starts boiling, what happens? It evaporates and forms into vapors. These vapors rise up. If you stop these vapors from rising up by holding a lid just above them, what happens? These vapors condense and cool down and form into water droplets again. The same process occurs in the troposphere, where the water vapor rising from the water bodies due to evaporation reach the troposphere, where they condense and cool down and form into water droplets or snowflakes depending upon the temperature. The clouds with water droplets or snowflakes precipitate on the earth as rain or snow. On earth, as water, it flows in rivers, seas, and oceans. A part of it also gets absorbed by the earth and is called as the groundwater. Groundwater is the water stored deep inside the earth due to precipitation. Thus, the evaporation of water from water bodies forming into vapors, rising up, cooling down, their condensation, and forming into water droplets again and precipitating on earth again. This process continues and is called as the water cycle. Moreover, the saline water from the seas and oceans get converted to fresh water. Trees also play an important role in the evaporation of water from land through the process of transpiration. That is, the water from the trees is evaporated through the leaves and formed into water vapor. All these processes help to recycle water. Our next topic is precipitation. The falling of water droplets on the ground is called as precipitation. The different forms of precipitation are rain, snow, hail, dew, frost, fog, mist, and smog. Let us see all the concepts in detail further. The condensed water vapor in the atmosphere accumulates as water droplets, forming clouds. These clouds become heavy and precipitate on the earth in the form of rain. Snow. When air in the atmosphere is very cold, the condensed water droplets convert into ice, forming snowflakes. Snowflakes are of different shapes and sizes depending upon the temperature and humidity in the area. Now let us see what hails are. This type of precipitation occurs in places where rains are frequent. In these places, sometimes in winters, the water droplets freeze into marble-sized pellets or stones of ice. As these are too heavy to stay overboard in the clouds, they fall on the earth, causing hailstorms. Hailstorms are mostly accompanied by thunderstorms. The water vapor in the cool air comes in contact with a relatively warm land and condenses. Condensation in the atmosphere takes place in the following ways. Dew. Water vapor in the air at night gets deposited on relatively warmer surfaces like stones, leaf blades, or grasses and plants. This is called as dew. In cold places where the temperature drops below 0 degrees Celsius, the dew on the plants freezes. This is called as frost. Frost is very harmful for the crops. Fog. It is a thick cloud of tiny water droplets suspended in the atmosphere at or near the surface of the earth. It becomes thicker when the nights are cold and windy. Fog reduces the visibility and makes traveling difficult. Mist. Very thin fog is called mist. It flows and blows with the wind. It is more often observed in the mountainous terrains and close to vegetation. Last concept is smog. In cities and towns where the pollution levels are high, the fog, when settles close to the ground, combines with the pollutants. At night, this is called as smog. With this, we have completed the second part of the lesson. We shall continue with the lesson in the next session. Till then, take care and bye for now.